My name is Miss Chapman, and today I'm going to be talking about the mag light, the woods lamp, the Aquaderm, which is your microdermabrasion, and the galvanic. So we're going to I'm going to demonstrate each one of those, and we're going to talk about them, and I'm going to tell you, and the high frequency, I'm sorry, and the LEDs, and tell you what each one of them does and what they're going to do. When we have a client, the first thing we do is we get the client, we put her on the bed while she's changing. We look at her record card. We find out what type of skin, what's wrong with her skin, what she needs, how she does it, determine what machines we're going to use, determine if she has medical issues that we cannot use any of these machines. With all of these machines, they can't have a bad heart, they can't have high blood pressure, they can't be pregnant, they can't have any pins in their body, in their mouth. If they have metal fillings, that's okay, they'll just get a metal taste. But they cannot have any severe pins. They can't have any type of high blood pressure. They can't have anything like that, okay? Because that could cause them to have a bad reaction and have to be hospitalized. So we want to make sure that we understand their medical condition, okay? Now, the mag light and the woods lamp is for us to see deeper into the skin. The mag light lets us see magnification of the skin to where we can see acne, we can see blackheads, comedones, which are blackheads, melias, we can see all kinds of different things in the skin. Our woods lamp tells us what our skin is doing. Is it producing too much oils? Is it dehydrated? Is it sun damaged? What is it? Because the woods lamp lets us see internally into the skin. The first thing we do is we always disinfect our hands, sanitize our hands. I'm from the old school, so I like to wash my hands first, which I did. So now I'm going to ask that the lights be turned down. I'm going to ask her to close her eyes. We can put iPads on. If you like, we can put the dark eyeglasses on. Okay, students, don't be afraid to touch the skin, okay? We can see blemishes. We can see pimples. A lot of women will have pimples like right here. She's got one right here. That's a melia, okay? That should be removed from the doctor, not us, because the skin under the eyes is very, very thin. She has rosacea, which means that she's got some broken capillaries. She also has some broken capillaries, not too many, but she has some in her skin. She's got some, oh yeah, you got some, you need to have a facial, Sunita.
I know, it's been so long.
I know. Okay, so we want to look, this is going to tell us, okay, do you guys see these fine lines right here? These fine lines right here, that tells you that her skin is dehydrated. Mm-hmm. And Sunita drinks lots of water, but we can move it. And if we come this way, see how she gets really wrinkled, okay? But when you let go, it's not wrinkled, but that shows that she's dehydrated, okay? And her skin, she's got lots, very good elasticity, okay? So she's got good elasticity. The forehead is good, but she is dehydrated. She needs a very, very rich moisturizer. I would probably have her put probably a drop of vitamin E oil in her moisturizer, which will help with the dryness. Okay, so that's our mag light, and it shows magnification.
A woods lamp gives out a special black ultraviolet light which will give a practitioner an indication of your skin health. What we're looking for are levels of hydration, blocked pores, bacterial activity, perhaps even fungal activity on the skin, or cellular changes which may require us to refer you on to a doctor. So when I'm looking at your skin, this is what I'm looking for, okay? So around here, you see this pale, almost like milky blue colour. This is the ideal kind of well-hydrated skin colour that we are looking for. Anything which is darker than this, more purple or violet, would show skin which is more dehydrated. You can see it around my eye area that it's a little bit darker. I have quite a thin, naturally dry skin, and this is telling me that I need to perhaps focus a little bit more attention on skincare around the eye area. I was a redhead when I was younger, and so some of the marks that you see are visible freckles. However, a lot of them are not visible to the naked eye, and you can see this has accumulated sun damage and pigmentation from old blemishes. Yep, even I get a spot occasionally. You can see that the side of the face, the temples, the cheek gets a lot more sun exposure, light exposure. Okay, the chin is generally looking a little bit purpley brown, so more pigmentation around here and around the lip area. It's a good way for us to see the health of very thin, delicate skin, such as the eyelid. So again, it's looking more purple and violet, very thin skin, a little bit dehydrated. We can see congestion in pores, which would fluoresce as bright orange, glow in the dark little dots, which is the oil.
Now I'm going to talk about the Woods lamp. The Woods lamp is a black light, and it's going to let us see internally. It's going to let us see different colors. As you can see, there's the black lights right there. And it's going to let us see different colors. We're going to see orange, we're going to see yellow, we're going to see brown, we're going to see black. So this lets us see internally into the skin. We do it the same way that we do the mag light. We put it over their face so that we can see, and we look through the little mirror. Okay, and she is purple. Her skin is very purple, which means that she is dehydrated. Okay, so let me see this melia over here so you can see what it looks like. Okay, can you guys see the melia right there? It looks yellow. Yellow is a melia. If we had some black, she's got another one in her nose. Let me move her nose over. Can you see her nose? Okay. Her skin is getting a little thinner, but she's got some broken capillaries. And that's because she has the first stages of rosacea. Okay, so we're going to move this over to the other side. And she's got some indentations here from her glasses. And that tells you that that's her glasses because it sits on her nose. And that area is a darker blue, and because it becomes thinner. Okay, so this is fun. I love to do the Woods lamp. Okay, now she's got some brown. She's got a little hyperpigmentation. That could be sun damage because she doesn't have too many. She's got right here in between. So your skin looks good, Sunita. Mm-hmm. Yeah, under here. It's just thin because we're getting older.
What about any whiteheads or blackheads?
Yeah, you got some in the corners of your nose here. You've got some that needs to be. You don't have white flakes, and that tells me that your skin is not flaky dry. It's just dehydrated. It lacks water. It doesn't lack oils. Your skin doesn't lack oils. Okay. All right, so that's our Woods lamp. All right, now we're going to do our microdermabrasion. This is our microdermabrasion system. This is a Aquaderm. This is a different one than the one that uses crystals. We have our 3 buttons, and one is for time. So I'm going to move it up to like 30. So the whole face is going to give you like 30 minutes. So it's 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there, and 15 minutes on the chin. Or you can do, and then come back, or you can do 5 minutes and then come back on the forehead. Wherever you think that then The skin is the thickest, that needs to be a little bit more rejuvenated. In here, we have our different heads. They go from light to coarse, depending on the thickness of the skin and how many passes you're going to do on the skin. These are our valves that go on. Okay. This goes in here, and then these just screw on. These can go off and they can go into the quats to be disinfected, because when we're doing this, we get lots of dead cells in there, so we have to scrub them and put them in the quats. Okay? So I'm going to turn, we always make sure that our machines are, everything is off. Okay, I'm going to turn my machine on. And I'm going to turn my suction up. Okay. Then we're going to take our index fingers in our hands and we're going to come up and we're going to pull across the skin. We're going to come, and we always want to anchor, okay? And we're going to come and touch the skin and lift up and pull. And we come straight up, and then on the cheek, we come straight out. With somebody that has rosacea, you want to be very careful. You want to use a very light diamond touch. Okay, this is a very light one, because otherwise you can break capillaries. And then across the chin. I just kind of let it glide on its own and then let it come up. Okay. You can change hands, but I don't. How's it feel, Sunita? Mm-hmm. Good? It's been a while, huh? Mm-hmm. Oops. Can't see. Yeah. Okay. What you don't want to do is come and get the suction and pull up. See how it's pulling up? You can break capillaries by doing that. That's a no-no, so you don't want to do that, okay? It'll make it look like somebody gave her a hickey. And we don't want to do that, okay? Then we want to make sure that we turn our vacuum down all the way off, okay? And turn our machine off. And then we take this out and we put it in our tray over here to be disinfected, okay? So we've done that. Then we'll take, after that, we'll take a nice warm towel and we'll get all the dead cells off, okay, and wipe it down. Yeah, you did get some. Okay, so we'll wipe it down, okay. Then we have to do a germicidal, and that's where our high frequency comes in. We have different types of glass electrodes. We have a mushroom. Okay, this is our mushroom. This is the one I'm going to use today. So we're going to put that in there. Then we have a pointer. This is the one that gets in the nose and in those little crevices. There's no reason why you can't use more than one. And this is a spoon. So we're going to turn the machine on. And we're going to listen to it. Okay, what are you doing? There we go. This is the neon, okay? Now, we don't want to hold up here. Can you hear? Mm-hmm. Okay? Because when we hold up here, it's pulling the electricity back into the machine. It's not going to give her full benefit. So we have to hold it under the lip. Okay? Then in order to touch her skin, we have to touch it. And then we touch it to her skin. And I like to do, is that too high?
No.
Okay, so we want to keep it moving. Okay. And if we have to pick it up, we have to touch it and pick it up. Then we have to touch it and put it back down. And if I touch her face, I can feel it in my other hand. Now, if an operator is pregnant, let's say. I've had many students that were pregnant, and they say, oh, well, I can't use the high frequency because I'm pregnant. You can't use it on yourself if you are pregnant, but you can use it on your clients because there's a way that you can do it, okay? When we're done, we touch it and pick it up. So let's say that Miss Chapman was pregnant. I would die if I was. But let's say that Miss Chapman is, or she has a student that's pregnant. So I give this to the student. I tell the student, you hold it, and we're going to touch it to her skin. And once it's touched to the skin, she's going to start to move it, and she's going to turn it on. She is not getting any of the benefits of this, only the client. So when she's done, she keeps it in one position, and she turns it off, and then she picks it up. She's done nothing wrong. Her baby's healthy, she's healthy, and her client gets the benefit of the germicidal, of the high frequency.
So the sensation I felt is a little bit prickly.
Mm-hmm. It's like a little bit of needles.
Mm-hmm, just a little.
Sometimes if it feels a little bit too harsh like needles, it could be a little too high. Just turn it down. And you want to ask your client, how does that feel? Does it feel like pins and needles? If it feels like pins and needles, turn it down. Okay? Our electrode, our glass electrode, is going to get sprayed with a spray disinfectant. We're going to spray it. We're going to wipe it down with a tissue, and then we put a tissue over it and put it in the box. That tells another student that this has been disinfected. Okay? This is our galvanic. And with the galvanic, it has two. We have a positive and we have a negative. Okay? And the negative opens, pulls, breaks down oils, breaks down comedones, breaks down blackheads. And the positive closes, pushes, and feeds. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to do the 25% anti-aging serum, and I'm going to feed it into her skin. Now when you're going to use a serum or a cream, you don't want to work it in too much. You want to let your machine do it for you. Okay? Now we have to ground her. So what I have to do is I have to take her right hand. I like to have the ground on the right side because it's farther away from the heart, so it has to go through her whole entire body before it gets up to her forehead. Okay? So we have to ground her. So I'm going to take and put a wet towel. Okay. And then my ground comes right here. They have some too that goes under their shoulder. This one I could put on her shoulder here, but it's kind of uncomfortable. So I always put it on the wrist. Okay? Then we have our electrode. Okay? This ground here is positive. This ground here is always negative. It goes from my machine to either negative to her face or positive to her face. So what it does is it switches it in my machine to whatever I want this electrode to be on her skin. Okay, we have here, this is a 5 unit. So we have our brush unit, we have our vacuum spray, we have our high frequency, and we have our galvanic. These are called rheostats, okay? That tells us how much electricity is flowing through here into her body. So this down here is the buttons for on and off. This button is my positive or my negative. It's red or green, okay? And this tells us how much current we're going to have. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on her face, and I'm going to start to roll it back and forth. I'm going to turn my rheostat on. Okay, and you can see now it's green. Okay, okay. And I'm in positive because my red is on. Okay. Can you feel that, Sunita?
I am feeling a little metallic taste in my mouth because I have metal filling.
fillings. Okay.
And
Is it too high?
no.
Okay. Also, too, when you have product on a client's skin, you're doing your galvanic, positive, you want to push and feed. Okay. The skin, if you noticed, her skin was wet looking. It still is in some areas. Okay, you can see it's wet here. Over here, it looks drier. That's because this galvanic is pushing it in. It's feeding her skin. Okay, it's making her skin be a little bit more, much better. We don't want to go too close to the eyes. We never want to go over the mouth. We never want to go over the eyelids. Okay, the eyelids are very, very thin. The lips are very, very thin. Those are two areas that we do not go over. We do this for 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Now let's say that I put product on and I think my machine is in positive, but it keeps staying wet and it keeps looking wetter and wetter. That's no problem. You're in negative. Just keep the electrode on, switch your machine to the whatever it says on the other one, and you will be in positive. Okay? So we're going to, and as you can see, her skin is starting to get drier. But you don't want to do this for any longer than 3 to 5 minutes. Okay? And we never pick it up and we never put it back down because you will shock her. Okay, you put it on her skin, you turn it on, and you move it. Okay, and you never break the contact. Okay, because if you break contact, well, if I pick it up, I'm okay. Just don't put it back down. Okay, so, but in order, when we're all done, okay, so we're just about done here because she's getting all of this in.
Thank you.
Okay. So now what I do is I come down the nose and I stop right here. I turn my rheostat down. I turn my machine off. Then I pick it up. Okay. And this can get put in the quats. Okay, or it can be used with a spray disinfectant. We have our LED lights, and we only have 2 of these in the school. We have one for anti-aging and one for acne. And actually, that's what you need with your LED lights. You don't need to have all 4 of them. You need to get your lights according to the majority of your clientele. Then when you start having more clientele of a different age group, then you can get more lights according to. Okay, so for acne, it's purple for acne. Okay, so what the purple does is it calms down the sebaceous gland. Because when they've got acne, their sebaceous gland is overworking, especially with teenagers from 13 to 25. Their hormones are more active, so this is going to slow it down. And then with our anti-aging, it is orange. Okay, what it wants to do is it wants to increase blood flow. So we're going to put this right next to her face. We're not going to touch her face. And we're going to hold it in one spot for like 2 minutes. And then we're going to move it. I kind of like to slowly move it a little bit at a time. Everybody has their own way that they do it. And it calms. You don't really feel anything, do you, Sunita?
No.
You don't feel anything with your lights. It's okay if you touch the skin. You just have to disinfect it afterwards. You have 2, you have 1 on each side, which is really great. This is like 5 minutes. Yeah, your lights are only like 5 minutes. There we go. Okay, now, a lot of times people like to have the little dark glasses on like this. When it has. So we're going to turn this on. Okay. And we're just going to hold them basically the same distance apart. Okay. There's different types of lights. You've got lots. I like the handheld ones. You've got ones that are tints that the person puts their face into. If somebody's claustrophobic, you want to be careful with those types because they might not like it as well. Okay, because then they would feel like really crowded. See, and when you have two, it kind of
Balance.
puts the lights more evenly on the skin But it's okay if you touch the skin. You just have to germicide them. Okay, then we turn them off and we can disinfect them. Okay, and that's all of our lights. Now to encap what we've done, we have the mag light. The mag light lets us see externally of our skin. It sees comedones, melias, blackheads, dehydrated skin, dry flaky skin. Our Woods lamp lets us see internally with the oils, gives us different colors, white, purple, orange, pink, and brown for sunburn, suntan, dehydrated, okay? Our Aquaderm is our microdermabrasion machine, which exfoliates the dead cells, dead skins, and our diamond tips come from fine to all the way to medium to coarse. Then we have our high frequency. Our high frequency is germicidal with the neon and soothing, and it's germicidal and antiseptic with the argon, which is the purple. Then we have our galvanic. Our galvanic negative we can use to soften oils, soften blackheads before extractions, and then we have to use the positive to close, so we would put vitamins and serums and minerals on it to close the skin back down. And then after that we would just continue, then we could use our light stems for whatever skin type we have, whether it's acne or anti-aging. And then we can continue on with our facial. From this point, we would probably do our massage, and then our mask, and then our finishing cream, and she would be done. And we would move the goggles. Okie dokie.